Welcome to Electronic Specifier Insights. Today we are bringing you a Student Circuit special. Student Circuit is an online learning platform and engineering community for anyone undertaking further education in electronics. I will be your guest host, Sheryl Miles. In this episode, I will be speaking to YC Wang, Global Academic Program Director at DigiKey, about the company's annual Back2School giveaway. We will discuss what's up for grabs, why DigiKey has selected these specific tools, and the reason behind the giveaway. We hope you enjoy the episode. Let's get started. Welcome to Electronic Specifier Insights Student Circuit Special. Today, I'm joined by YC Wang, Director of Global Academic Program at DigiKey. YC, it's great to have you joining us today. Firstly, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's a wonderful morning here in California.
Lovely, excellent. So I've just given you a brief introduction, but perhaps you could just tell our listeners a bit more about yourself.
Absolutely. So I'm DigiKey's point person for all marketing and business engagements with academia. And I am very proud to be doing this for DigiKey, as I feel that it gives me a broad exposure to the overall electronics industry, and it allows me to work with lots of different organizations and universities around the world where I get to see innovation happen almost daily.
Lovely, excellent. And for those who might not be as familiar with who DigiKey is, could you tell us a little bit more about the company?
Absolutely. DigiKey is a high service distributor. That means we sell electronic components, and we used to have a paper catalog that we ship out to potential customers, but nowadays we are completely web-based. What sets us apart from many other distribution companies is our focus on everything from low volume to high volume business. We support everything from hobbyist projects to OEM productions. And so we are a company that cares about people who are buying individual resistors, capacitors, or just standalone microcontrollers, or maybe even, Arduino or Raspberry Pi boards. And this includes students. DigiKey also sets itself apart from its competitions with a very comprehensive collection of documentation, blog posts, videos, and everything that is needed to help the beginning engineer, the engineer who's just starting in the industry, understand products, understand electronic concepts. DigiKey, in addition to its broad product offerings, offer a lot of supporting documentation that can then be leveraged in development of electronic projects using said products.
Excellent. Thank you for that lovely overview. And speaking of the components, let's talk about the giveaway, which is a fantastic opportunity for engineering students. Could you start by explaining what the Back2School prize giveaway is and why DigiKey runs it each year?
So Back2School is a very exciting time for students. They're going back on campus, and especially the students in their third and fourth years in their undergraduate education, engineering schools. That's typically when they start working on hands-on projects. So the Back2School giveaway is a sweepstake where we give away products that will be of use to students working on electronic projects for the first time. And as you can see from the selection of prizes, everything that we give away will have some utility to the student that will find a place on their workbenches and hopefully be integrated into their projects and hobbies moving forward.
Perfect, lovely. And you were talking about the prize package. So the prize package includes a mix of goodies such as the Arvon Tools LED lamp, a Pocket Innovations all-in-one digital tool, a Weidmuller wire stripper, an Adafruit Lady Ada's electronic toolkit, DigiKey merchandise, and a lot more. So how and why were these particular items chosen, and how do you see the students using them?
Believe it or not, many of these items were very carefully selected. We had an internal committee with very seasoned engineers and also with engineers with experience in the education field selecting these items. So these were not just random products that we selected from our catalog as giveaway to students. I feel that every one of these items, as I've mentioned earlier, belongs on the workbench. And we've decided this year the products that we're giving away are things that will help enable students to work on electronic projects better. Believe it or not, typically electronic projects are done on a kitchen table or maybe a workbench in the garage. And very often it's done under home lighting and with very little supporting hardware and tools. So we wanted to stock the workbench of each student who wins each one of these products with something that is useful. So the Aventus LED lamp, it's useful for students who are working on projects that require good lighting. In fact, all electronic projects should have good lighting because you need to be able to read the silk screen on PCBs, or you need to be able to focus on tiny components that you're soldering onto a PCB or putting onto a breadboard. The Pocket Meter is an incredible tool, and it's a portable, essentially what I call a data acquisition device in the form of a oscilloscope. So the Pocket Meter in this case is portable, hence its name Pocket Meter, and you can connect it to a laptop to show waveforms that you are generating on the circuit. So I feel that it is a great way for students to understand how different waveforms are generated to communicate from one device to another, for example, on their boards. And the Weidmuller wire stripper, well, I started out in electronics with, believe it or not, I used a nail clipper to clip the rubber off a wire in order to pull it off. Well, that worked quite well, but it was a painful process. And the wire stripper is a tool of choice for students who are basically piecing together projects with breadboards, which would involve a lot of wires. And Sherbeat's using a nail clipper. And the electronics toolkit from Adafruit, that is basically an all-in-one toolkit with everything you need to stock a basic workbench with. And it is a very good starting point in building up a collection of useful tools for electronic projects. And for the other DigiKey merchandise, we're definitely giving away the DigiKey ruler. And the DigiKey ruler is a product that it may be a giveaway, and many people may have the DigiKey ruler already from many trade shows that we attend. But believe it or not, it is an immensely useful tool for measuring wire gauge and also the amount of ampacity that's permitted through those different wire gauges. And so the DigiKey ruler is actually a useful tool for engineers who are just getting started in electronics. And so these items were chosen very carefully internally. We've gone through, believe it or not, a huge list of possible products before we narrowed these down, before we narrowed down the selection of the products based on their utility to the end user.
Fantastic. And they certainly sound like well thought out pieces of kit that you say will get an engineering student started on their journey. And obviously for one lucky grand prize winner, they will also receive a Teledyne LaCroix power supply. Why is that piece of kit valuable for student projects?
Excellent question here. So when people think of a beginner's workbench, very often they'll think of the soldering iron. They'll think of, maybe a basic scope or a tool like the Pocket Meter. But an often overlooked component of the workbench is the power supply. A good workbench power supply is crucial for stable functionality of the circuit that they are prototyping. Very often, power supplies are actually the last things that people think about when building a PCB or building a breadboard project. And so a good benchtop power supply can supply the necessary voltages, and it can also supply the necessary current to keep the circuit powered up in stable operating condition. And so I feel that, as opposed to an oscilloscope being the key focus point of a workbench, a good power supply should actually be the most basic piece of equipment. Scopes can now be implemented on laptops with a tool like the Pocket Meter, but a power supply, a stable source of current, is something that a laptop or a battery pack is something that cannot be replaced by a laptop or a battery pack. And so we chose the Teledyne LaCroix power supply to basically emphasize the need to have good power management and a good solid power source for the person working on their electronics project.
Excellent. Competitions like this, they are usually about more than just the prizes themselves. So what does DigiKey hope the students will gain from taking part?
Well, we hope students will do a couple of things. One, they will explore the DigiKey website for the said resources. We have a lot of free resources, free documentation, free videos, even free conversion calculators that they can use without needing to purchase anything from us. We want them to come to our website and understand the resources that we offer that differentiates us from our competitors. And the other thing is we want students to understand that a good professional tool would take them a long way, and it can become a dependable partner when working with electronic projects, not some tool that you can buy from maybe an e-marketplace online. A good tool like the Weidmuller wire stripper, that may be something that will last them a good 10, 15 years, or maybe even forever. Or the Teledyne LaCroix power supply, it could be a good start for many projects if they are working on startup ideas. It may even help get their first circuit powered up for their products. Finally, we want them to work as much as possible on electronic projects, especially the students who are in engineering fields, because I feel that electronics is a key part. It's the beating heart of all products nowadays, be it a car, airplanes, smart refrigerators, smart thermostats, anything that you see have electronic circuits operating in the background. So we want students to get their hands dirty with electronic projects as much as possible so that they are better prepared for the industry.
Amazing. And the giveaway, it's open worldwide to students, like any student with a university email address. Have you seen participation grow internationally over the years?
Absolutely. Yes. Believe it or not, it's often through word of mouth. And we encourage students to re-participate in back to school year after year. After all, they have 4 attempts. We encourage students to start in their freshman year and then to basically re-engage every year with the back to school promotion. And we see that they understand that we're giving away good quality products, good quality tools. And we hope that they will basically encourage their friends and classmates to start too. After all, I think if they win the Teledyne LaCroix power supply, they can probably share it between multiple student teams at that institution. So I think it's actually quite a beneficial sweepstake for students at the start of their academic year.
Fantastic. I think it's wonderful that you encourage students to take part more than once, and it's a generous package that you're offering. And I was wondering how this initiative fits into DigiKey's wider commitment to supporting education and early career engineers.
Well, so I feel that there is a often overlooked portion of the academic market, and that is students who are entering their senior year or their 4th year, and they are working on their capstone or senior year projects. A lot of universities around the world are now asking students to do a showpiece that's due by the end of the year, and that is often the first time that they actually touch an electronic circuit or actually solder something, where they actually apply the practical skills and the theoretical skills that they have learned throughout the 4 years at the institution. And in our opinion, we want to help these students. We want to get the word out that, hey, DigiKey is here as a valued partner to support you. And we hope that they appreciate the resources that we offer. I hope that they appreciate the fact that if they are looking for 3 pieces of a capacitor they can buy from us, they don't have to worry about the minimum order quantity. And then we support them with a community as well. We have a very immensely useful forum on DigiKey's website. It's basically called the DigiKey Tech Forum, and that is a community of like-minded engineers that answer questions, that support each other. And more importantly, we have DigiKey application engineers, real engineers with real hands-on practical experience helping our customers and their queries on the Tech Forum. Believe it or not, that is the quickest way to get direct support on DigiKey's website. And it shows our further commitment to the academic industry, be it professors working on research projects, teaching assistants working on getting the next lab exercises up and running, or students working on their senior year projects. We care about every one of these categories, and then we hope that with Back to School, we get their attention at the beginning of the school year and show them that we are a good partner in academia for all 4 years of their education.
Fantastic. What an amazing resource for engineers. So I guess finally, and probably the most crucial part, if a student listening today wanted to enter, what is the simplest way for them to get involved?
So the simplest way is to get to the registration page for Back to School, and I'll be very honest here. The easiest way to get there is to go on Google, type back to, as in the number two, Back to School, DigiKey, and the first link would take you to the registration page right away.
Fantastic. So there you go. Type in DigiKey Back to School and get yourself into the giveaway. YC, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this latest episode of Electronic Specifier Insights. Don't forget to subscribe to the series to keep up to date with our newest guests, and do share with fellow colleagues, friends and family who may be interested in the latest news from the electronics industry.